Hello everyone. In today's mini lesson, we're gonna divide fractions. So let's look at our first example here. So let's say we have 2 over 3 divided by 4 over 7. So for this one here, what you want to do is you don't divide 2 by 4 and 3 by 7. You have to change the operation. In other words, the division here, it's not gonna it becomes a multiplication here. So what you do is the following. So the division here becomes multiplication, and then you do what we call the reciprocal, which is another way of saying you're gonna get the multiplicative inverse of this, which in other words is just you're gonna flip this fraction here. So instead of having 4 over 7, it's gonna be 7 over 4. So when you divide fractions, it's kind of misleading because you don't really divide fractions. You have to change the operation from division to what? To multiplication, and then you just multiply straight across. So 2 over 3 times 2 over 7, and again we did this in the previous video. This is going to be 14 over 12, and then find the greatest common factor for 14 and 12. So find the GCF 12 and 14, which is what, 2. So go ahead and divide 14 by 2, which gives you 7. 12 divided by 2, which gives you 6. So this will be my answer. So again, when you multiply fractions, when you divide fractions here, you don't just divide the numerator and the denominator. In other words, you don't do 2 divided by 4. You don't do 3 divided by 7. You're going to have to do what? You're going to have to get the reciprocal of this one and change the division to what? To multiplication. So let's look at another example. So if I have, let's say, 15 over 7 divided by 5 over 3 here. So again, you don't do 15 divided by 5 and you don't do 7 divided by 3. So what's the first thing you have to do? You're going to have to change this to multiplication. And then what's the second thing you have to do is get the reciprocal of this one. In other words, instead of having 5 over 3, I want to flip this fraction, only the one on the second one here, from 5 over 3 to 3 over 5. This one stays the same, and then you just multiply straight across. So 15 times 3 is 45. 7 times 5 is 35. So now that you have this fraction here, again, don't forget that you're going to have to do what? You're going to have to simplify it. So you're going to have to see if you can you're going to have to get the greatest common factor. So the GCF for 45 and 35 is 5 here. So then divide this numerator by 5, this denominator by 5. So that gives you 9 over 7. So again, when you divide fractions, it's kind of misleading. You don't divide fractions, you change the operation to multiplication and get the reciprocal of second one and just multiply straight across. 2 times 7, 3 times 4, and then simplify the new fraction here, if possible, right? So let me give you an example where it won't be possible to simplify. So let's say we have 3 over 11 divided by 5 over 7. So then this would be 3 over 11 times 7 over 5, which is going to be 21 over 55. And then the greatest common factor for 21 and 55 is going to be 1. So the GCF for 21 and 55 is 1. So that means you divide and you get 21 over 55. So in this case, we couldn't reduce 21 over 55, but unfortunately you have to check to see, you have to verify that it's already in what the lowest terms here. So once you verify that it's already in lowest terms, then that's your answer. If it's possible to simplify it to reduce it, then you have to reduce it. You can't always assume this is going to be your answer here, right? So